April 2018. I'm 26, looking for a new job. I had worked at a pharmaceutical plant as a maintenance guy, but the plant shut down. I decide to move back to Illinois, where my parents live. In a small town called Carmi. My only experience is in maintenance. So after settling in and using my last savings to move and rent a house, I apply at the local utilities branch. Days pass. A week. 2 weeks. And then, I get a phone call. Woot. It's a guy named Paul, the director of maintenance for the city. He says they need a guy to maintain the city's youth center. Oh, okay. I don't have a whole lot of experience in that sort of environment, but fuck it. It's a job. Paul give me directions to the youth center, asks me to report in tomorrow at 11. Okay. That day, I head to the youth center. I meet up with Paul, who's an older guy, bald, mustache, looks like your typical custodian, maintenance guy. He tells me not very many people like working here. But I don't mind. He unlocks the door, hands me the key. Then, he walks me in. My jaw drops. Inside the youth center are several tables, set up in long rows. And on each table is about a dozen 30-year-old Dell Optiplex computers. I'm so shocked because these computers are basically ancient. If I were a kid, I wouldn't want to go here and use these things. It's also a very dusty, unclean environment. Just seems really weird. I ask Paul what exactly people do here. He tells me he doesn't know. The director is a guy named Chuck who used to work at a neighboring school district. Okay. So, he kind of tells me what to do, how to clean the computers, where to wipe, etc. It's all really basic. I ask Paul what happened to the last guy who did this job. He quit. Why? Paul doesn't remember. Well. So, I go on my merry way walking through the YC with Paul and going over the basics of janitorial service. That's day 1. The next day, I go in to clean the center at about 11 p.m. I'm supposed to clean from 11 to 4 a.m. 5 hours, and I get paid pretty decently. It's super easy, and I spend a lot of my time reading or listening to audiobooks or music. I still haven't met Chuck. Nor do I ever see kids in here after school. Weird, but I don't ask questions, I just fucking clean. We get to day 15. 2 weeks on the job, and it's midnight. There is never any evidence that anyone comes in here except me. There is a bar down the road, and oftentimes I'm tempted to go and get shit-faced on the clock. But it's a decent job for very little work, so I never risk it. I'm in a chair by a computer reading some book, I think it was Jurassic Park. When suddenly, the computer turns on. I freak out, afraid I hit something. I don't think I did. And then, a prompt shows up on the screen. I see one word, hello. I have no idea what to do at this point. I've never seen one of these machines turned on. There is nothing inside this building except the tables, chairs, and computers. The only thing indicating the building's name is Youth Center painted on the glass windows in front in green and pink paint. I just sit here staring at this prompt. Hello. Nothing else. Hello. I decide to reach underneath and pull the plug, maybe something's wrong with this shit. But then I see another line appear on the screen. Are you there? What? Are you? This is too freaky for me, so I unplug the computer and leave early for the night. The next morning I decide I want to meet Chuck, who runs the damn place. I call Paul, get his number. I call it, straight to voicemail. Voicemail box has not been set up. Awesome. So I call Paul again and get his address. He tells me he's not supposed to give it to me, but he does anyway. I hop in my car, put it in my GPS, and drive out of the city and onto some back road. After about 20 minutes, I get to a giant task gate. At the top of the gate it says Heavenly Grace Temple and Sanctuary. I'll just call it HGTS because it's a bitch to type. So clearly I've put in the wrong address, or have I? I decide to drive past the gate, which is open, and see what lies beyond. It's a long fucking driveway, path down a very steep hill. Eventually it gets so steep and curvy I feel weird driving on it. I get out and walk the rest of the way until I get to a large church. It's maybe the size of a large restaurant or something. I see a lot of trailers beyond the church in a field. Trailers, a filling station. It's like they've set up their own little town around this church. Weird. I feel uncomfortable now, but fuck it. I approach the church. And, surprisingly, I hear organ music. They're having service. Oh shit. I approach the church and peek in the window. It's weird as shit. It looks normal, with pews and shit, and an altar. But all the men are in the back and are wearing these dark green suits. The women are in front and they're wearing these weird veils. Suddenly I hear a voice behind me. Can I help you? It's some woman, wearing a creepy veil. I don't know what to say, so I run the fuck out of there. I'm like a fucking cheetah running so fast. I get in my car, turn around so fast I hit a tree, doing cosmetic damage to my car. And I ride out of there. I get home and call Ian to work. But Paul's phone is dead or something, so I can't. Just to be safe, I decide to go in. I go to work but I don't do too much cleaning. I start to get paranoid because this black SUV keeps passing the center every half hour or so. I decide to call Chuck's number again, because I want to see what's going on. It rings and rings and rings. And then he picks up. He sounds kind of drunk, honestly. I don't really know what to say, so I just tell him who I am and ask him to come down. I want to talk to him. He slurs his way into some excuse about how it's too late. It is late. But I'm freaking out. I get angry and hang up on Chuck. I decide that when I get off work, I'll do some research myself. So, that next day, I go to the local library and search their records. There is nothing, I mean nothing, in regards to the youth center. It might as well not exist. Even though it's right there in town. So I decide to Google HGTS. And then things get interesting. There are several newspaper articles from neighboring counties. All of them call HGTS a cult. Apparently about 4 years prior, a young woman went missing and joined up with them. Some other weird shit. But how is this place linked up with the youth center? Only one way to find out. I go back to HGTS the next day. I park on the side of the road and make the trek down the driveway. This time, there is no service going on at the church, so I just walk in. I call out, asking for Chuck my name. Kind of weird, but he's the only guy I know involved in this thing. The church is obviously empty, so I go back out and head back up to my car. Then, I hear someone calling my name. I turn around and it's this red-headed dude with a black beard. He introduced himself. It's Chuck. He asks if I need anything urgent, as service is about to start. I tell him there's nothing urgent, but I'd like to meet up with him at the youth center that night to go over some stuff. He acts like this is the most normal thing to request in the world, and says he'll be there. I go to work that night. He's not there. I wait several hours. He's still not there. Then a computer turns on. Well, shit. Same prompt-looking screen. This time, there's a full sentence. I've been reading Romans. The fuck? I know I could get in trouble, but fuck it. I respond, what? No response. Then, another sentence appears, brother asked me to read Romans. My response, who is brother? And then radio silence. So work continues for 2-3 weeks. And then one night, I get there, and the door is unlocked. I'm about to nope the fuck out of there, but curiosity gets the best of me. It's Chuck. He's drinking a Red Bull, sitting. Seemingly waiting for me. Oh, hi. Chuck is seemingly very sober, unlike the last 2 times I spoke to him. He tells me he thinks I have some questions. And I do. So I ask. What is this place? He tells me that about 20 years ago, the library got rid of its computer lab to upgrade their technology. The city decided to make a youth center for kids without computers to come play games and learn technology skills. This seems sort of far-fetched and weird, and I tell him I've never actually seen anyone here. Oh, he says. Trust me, they're here when they need to be. That sounds very ominous. Chuck stands up and grabs me on the shoulder. I don't like being touched and my instinct is to pull away. Listen to me, Anon. Coming to my place of worship is very unprofessional. Don't do that again. And then he leaves. And I stand there. And I wonder if I should even bother cleaning. I get the broom out of the closet, and I'm kind of freaking out. But then, I notice something. Under the chair Chuck was sitting in. It's a wallet. Specifically, Chuck's wallet. Oh shit. I hold on to it, even though I know I shouldn't. The first thing I look at is Chuck's ID. Turns out, Chuck's real name is Simon. I won't do last names, you can Google after the fact. I drive to the library the next day and, again, search the records. Nothing. So, I use a computer, a modern one, by the way, and do a search for his name. And holy shit. Paul was right about one thing, he did work for a school system. And he was dismissed for reasons I won't get into. They are less than noble, however. No guy who gets fired from a job like he had would get hired to run a youth center. The mayor has to present all town hires to the town board. If I were the mayor. Well shit. Carmi is a small town, and the mayor is basically just some guy. He is an elected official though, and he does have hiring power for town employees, along with the town board. So later that day, I go to the bar across from the youth center. And I ask around about Chuck and Paul and the mayor. Turns out, no one knows much about Chuck, everyone knows Paul, and the mayor is somewhat of an enigma. One guy calls him a weirdo. What do you mean? He goes to that funny-looking church over yonder. So now I know how a guy like Chuck, Simon managed to get hired to run a youth center that basically does nothing. But I feel like I have a mystery to solve, so that's what I do. I go to work like normal. And I turn on a computer for the first time. It's a prompt. Who is this? I type, Chuck. But then I delete it and type Simon. There's a long pause. I teased the wrong time. But I read the scripture. It was good. I really don't know what to type, and I'm a bit befuddled as to what exactly I should say. So I just type, okay. Then, the response, I want to go and be with the family. Another one, I want to help any way I can. I want to know who I'm talking to and what the hell is going on. But I get spooked and I pull the plug on the computer. I get my phone out, call Paul, leave him a voicemail. That next night, I go to work like normal. And I work my shift, like normal. This goes on for maybe a month. No computer shit, no Chuck. Simon, whatever. But then I get a phone call from Chuck. He tells me not to worry about my shift the next night. He tells me, some people are staying late. Oh okay. So obviously, I have to be there to see what the hell is going on. I never ever see other people in the building. And I have to know. So, I come up with a plan. I go to the grocery store and load up on water and snacks. Here is my plan, to hide in the closet the entire day until shit starts happening. I take my power drill over to the youth center and drill a small hole, just big enough to look out of. I throw the drill in with the other tools, grab my snacks, water, and shut the door, making sure to lock it before I enter. I guess I'll just have to kick it down or some shit when everyone leaves, but I can't have someone opening the damn door while I'm in there. So, I sit and wait. And wait. And wait. Until finally, I hear a rustling at the door. Oh shit. So I look into my little hole and sure enough, there's Chuck in one of the weird green suits. And two women wearing the creepy-ass veils. And then. More come. Men in green suits. Women with veils. By the time it's all over, there's like 30 people in the building. None of them youth by any means. I keep watching. I wonder if one of these guys could be the mayor? Jesus. Anyways, each person sits at a computer and logs on. The prompt appears. And then like robots each one starts typing away. And away. They just keep going. They type. Wait for a response. Repeat. I just stand there watching. I have to piss and shit, because I've been here all damn night. But they just don't stop. There is a guy typing away very close to me, but I can't see his screen through this little hole. So, I decide to wait it out. wait for them to leave. Finally they do. No one turns their computer off. No one says anything. They just stand up, in unison, and file out the door. I wait about 10 minutes and then try to kick the door down. It was a lot harder than I imagined, but I finally managed. I run up to the monitors to see what all's been typed. I won't quote what everyone said, but they clearly had a script memorized. To my best understanding, the idea here is that these guys were trying to recruit people to their church. But why the old computers? Why not do this from the church grounds? I take out my phone and take screenshots. I'm really nervous. Who exactly turns these computers off? Do they turn themselves off? How are they talking to whoever? I put my phone up when I hear another rattling at the door. I run into the closet, but then I realize the door's fucked up. So I just cover the closet with the broken door and hope no one notices. I sit quietly, I don't even bother with the hole I drilled. It's dead silent for maybe 10 minutes. And then off comes the door. I'm prepared to rock Simon's shit should he be there. But he's not. And then, I hear his voice. Come out, Anon. I have a gun. Oh shit. I go out, totally exasperated and expecting to die. It is Chuck, and he's no longer in his green suit. He's wearing like a wife beater. And he's holding a gun in his hand. He goes on this rant about how I'm being unprofessional and not doing my job properly. That he has to clean up the mess that I don't clean. That I'm lazy. Not once does he mention his nutty little cult. I'm pretty sweaty at this point and on the verge of tears. In the middle of his rant, I stop Simon, Chuck, and ask him what the fuck everyone was doing just a little bit ago. Simon keeps talking, ignoring my question. Then, he tells me that he's tired of people ignoring his religious beliefs. That, time and time again, people have cast him out. Clearly he is fucking bonkers. I keep talking over him, yelling, asking how the hell they communicate with the old computers. He ignores me. Then, in another delayed response, he says, "Well, why the fuck do you think Amish folks still ride horses and buggies?" Well, I'm pretty sure at this point I'm going to die at the hands of this madman. I think back to all those times I thought about just getting a drink at work. Never showing up again, just collecting my check. But nope. There is a computer right behind me. I think that maybe, just maybe, if I keep this nut talking, I can type help. I reach behind myself slowly. Simon at this point is at the point where he's quoting Bible verses and saying he knows the technocrats. Technocrats? What the fuck? I used to be pretty good in typing class. So I'm hoping I'm hitting the right keys. H. E. K. No, backspace. And then, I see those crazed eyes glance down at my hands. He pulls the gun out and points it at my head. More Bible verses. He's spitting on my face. At this point, I have accepted that I'm most likely going to die. I'm not on this earth long enough to play games with you, he says. Yeah, okay. He grabs my hand, squeezes tight. He's actually rather strong, and I'm afraid he'll break my hand. Oh shit. I look behind me and notice some of the computers have been turned off. I guess that's why Simon came back. To turn them off. I wonder if Paul ever got my voicemail. I wonder if I would have ever been anything other than a decently paid janitor? Probably not. But it's fun to pretend. Simon, Chuck has gotten to the point where he's rambling in gibberish. I'm about to make a run for the door. If you're gonna shoot, shoot, don't talk. But then I see the flash. Red and blue. Police lights. After I talked with whomever on the computer, I sent Paul a voicemail. Basically I said that if you don't hear from me after every shift, something weird is happening and he should check it out. So after every shift, I texted him. And he never responded. But, lo and behold, he did check his voicemail and texts when it really counted. 2 cops enter the building, screaming at Simon, Chuck to drop his gun and put his hands up. He doesn't. They continue to shout. Simon isn't talking anymore, he's just shaking and looks like he's about to explode. I see Paul outside, by the window, looking in between to the two stems of the Wyan Youth Center painted on the window. As I'm looking I hear a bang. And on the floor is Simon. Holy fucking shit. I overhear one of the cops saying he had begun raising his weapon. So I guess he basically committed suicide by cop. I've read shit about Waco, Jim Jones. But nothing like this. The cops rush over to me. Ask if I'm alright. Yeah. Do I need anything? No, I'm good. After an experience like that, I obviously did not feel like working for the town of Carmi again. I eventually found another job. Factory work up north, near Chicago. Last time I was in Carmi was a few months ago, for my dad's birthday. The youth center is a pizza place now. Just for shits and giggles, I decided to try it. I went in, ordered carry-out, and as the lady put in my order, I noticed something. She was doing it on an old Dell Optiplex.